So in your opinion, how does generative AI contribute to the overall artistic experience for both creative creators and the audience?
So I think we kind of touched about that, like, you know, like with what we talked about of having open conversations and about, engaging your fans in a new way, and creativity becoming like democratized and amplified. But I also think like in a simpler kind of, easier way to understand that is just like scalability and productivity. Like we're working with one of our closed beta clients is they have a ton of assets. They're like a music marketing agency. So they have to put out so much content, like especially like shorts, reels, all that kind of short form music centric content for like social media and recommendation media. Now for Spotify, because Spotify has integrated video into their feed,
Yeah,
not just like
right.
Canvas video, but actual like music videos.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
for them, like one of the things that we're doing now is like we're actually tracking that. We're tracking how much more content can they put out, and not just like how scalable and productive is this, but also how is it resonating with these different audience. Are people responding to it more, less, like better, like, or do they like it, do they feel engaged by it? So I think that's a big thing, because um as boring as that sounds, if you're not able to scale what you do, you're really going to be limited by the amount of audience and following that you can get.
Yeah. What comes to my mind when you're saying that is, in general, we see more content. It could be text, it could be images, it could be videos, music, whatever, created by AI, and of course it will be expanded and exponentially will grow. And the other side of it is like people consuming it. As I see it right now, people are consuming lots of information and media and all of that, but they still have 24 hours, 7 days a week. So the amount of content that is created is not equal to the consumer's need as I see it. What do you think about that?
I have to disagree on that. Like, I think that the demand is just phenomenal, and that's part of the problem, is that the demand is so phenomenal. Like YouTube just said, like, just had this blog about their music incubator. So one of the things that they said was that like there was I think it was 1.7 million views of videos related to generative AI tools on YouTube. Right. And that
Mhm.
was one of the things that like kind of convinced them to be like, we need to get, we need to address this, because there's a big demand for this. We need to make sure that in terms of like copyright and digital manipulation and misattribution, we need to make sure that we can control this, because it is really, really high demand. So I think the demand is really out there. It's just a question of like, how are we going to meet that demand in a way that is respectful of the artists ultimately? Like, how do we do that without infringing?
Yeah.
So
So,
that's the challenge, I think, creating
yeah,
that framework.
I think it means that each one of the people viewing would see something which is more personal. So instead of
Yeah,
having one video for Tyler Swift, I don't know why I'm talking about this woman all the time. Maybe because
she's
my
amazing.
daughter is talking about her all the time. So let's say that right now she's creating a clip. I know. Uh, 2 months in order to create this clip, tons of money. Instead of that, she would have like 10 versions of the same clip, and all their audience would listen to the same music in different clips. So it means it will
Yeah.
be more media, but in the same audience and time you consuming.
Yeah, again, I think that's like the beauty of recommendation media as opposed to social media, is that it knows how to deliver the right content to the right person. And so that's just, if you give it the material, if you give it that kind of variation, it will know how to, bring you the right person. And the potential there is just like really big, because you can tap into these micro communities and these fans that you would have kind of probably have never looked at you, right? Like if I'm like, I'm 38, 98. So like for me, Taylor Swift is a little bit, not my generation. But if
What can
but
I
if
say? Okay.
no, but I'm saying, like, if I were to see, like, when I look at her clips, like her, mainstream clips, that doesn't resonate with me, for example. But I don't know if she were to do something with like a more Peaky Blinders feel, something that's not necessarily on brand for her, but it's just really much more approachable for me, then that would make me listen to what she has to say a little bit more. Because when I see like something that just doesn't seem like it's made for me, I'll just dismiss it. Like I don't have time to, kind of go deep into every single piece of content, right? I need it to resonate with me. So I think that kind of empathy towards your potential fans is really important. It's not just about what I want to say and how I want to look. It's also about like, how can I make this more accessible for you, like for your perspective, like. I'm religious, so like there's a lot of content out there that is just like I love, like rap music. I just love it. But I
Yeah.
will kind of probably never just, have that, playing in the background here, because like the visuals are just not something that I can, that feel that I can connect with. But again, like if it was something that was more catered to my values and my tastes, then I think it would be kind of a different conversation.
Yeah. All through the conversation, we're talking about musicians wanting to create visual arts, but actually, there are lots of visual artists wanting to create things related to music, right?
Yeah.
Most of the people who are doing visual arts are not related to music. So it's connecting them as, I know, editors and creative people in general, visual people, into this realm of doing things for music. So I think that in that aspect, um, it's another opportunity for these kinds of people who did not do video clips and didn't do anything related to music to be more related to that domain, I guess.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I also think that, the numbers kind of support what you're saying, is that like audio based content, like visual content, videos that are like audio based, like they're very, very popular, right? Because it's easier to evoke emotion when you connect between like a song and a strong visual, right?
Yeah.
It's just two senses that kind of, they're more compelling when they work together. So it's no wonder that like 9 out of 10 of the most watched videos on YouTube are actually music videos. And
Ooh,
this is the type, yeah.
I didn't
we
know
we
that.
really, yeah. It's actually like that's one of the reasons that like YouTubers are so pioneering this kind of incubator, is because they, like I think I read somewhere that like 85% of YouTube visitors are there for music. They're just streaming music, and that's why they opened, YouTube Music. And by the way, that's why you see like now TikTok is kind of doing the opposite, right? They opened like their own distribution, like they have something that's equivalent to Spotify, that they're beta
Mm,
testing now in South America and different places, and I think Australia. So that kind of blur between like visual and audio content is a really great opportunity for creators, content creators, to kind of, come in and kind of feed that demand. And I think that
yeah.
content creators that have a background in video and composition and understanding kind of that, I think the content that they create is going to be like hordes and magnitudes, more kind of compelling than just anything else, because they come with that background. They understand the workings, like the inner workings of video.
Yeah.